Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast episode 320. Yes, we have 320 days since this podcast started, and every single day I was able to write the blog post and record the podcast in audio or video format. It obviously changed across the span of 320 days, but for all of you that are new to the podcast and the project itself, it is about building a static and continuous routine, especially for those of you that, like me, possibly you have the same trouble of being organized or sticking to certain habits for the longer periods of time and building those habits, especially on the positive or kind of beneficial to you routines rather than ones that are fairly easy to build, which are those that are, I would say, maybe not negative but definitely not helping us in life. And things like that might be binging on social media or Netflix, etc. I'm not saying that these things are not uh, I would say positive or they are not beneficial to us. There are many scenarios in which those are beneficial to us, especially if we use them towards us progressing or changing in some way, but not if we only consume content just for the sake of killing time or just getting that small dopamine hits for the sake of spending times in a what we think is a good way or pleasant way. But then obviously comes that hangover when after a certain time you might have those thoughts even before you go to bed, or maybe when you have a moment in time when you just stand there and start thinking a little bit more about your life, and you feel like it's just passing, it going through through your fingers, and so much time was so-called wasted, while you start feeling a little bit upset, that you could have used it in maybe a better way. But again, it's it's very questionable and subjective as well as individual what time wasting is. For some people, watching Netflix is wasting of time. The For others, it's actually a great thing to do. For completely other group of people, it might be even a way to live their life because maybe they are critics, or they actually their job is to watch movies. Uh, or some people kind of balance a little bit of this particular task in between being very productive outside of this particular uh, you know moment in schedule. So everything can be positive to some extent, or well, maybe not everything, but certain things that have pejorative or kind of negative vibe in between different cultures or communities and are considered bad things. They're not necessarily the bad things. It all depends on how you approach them and how you use them. So going back to that 320 days, as you can imagine, it's almost a year now, and it is difficult to upkeep, especially a daily routine or daily habit like that, and not slip on any particular day. Like for example, if you go to gym, you have rest days, or you kind of allow yourself for cheat days, or maybe you just don't feel well and you don't think like going to the gym is the right thing to do. In some cases it is true, sometimes it's just our brain telling us to relax while we probably should push for the exercise, but sometimes it's actually feeling bad. So it's a skill to recognize when it's more of on the side of laziness, and when is it actually that your energy levels are low, or your body actually wants to recover and relax a bit, and you should listen to it. So as everything in life, we need to learn these things. We share those experiences between ourselves to learn from each other, and also this project is about that. It's not only about me. I created that for my own accountability and to make sure that I keep going and build something first that is regular. And I had difficulties to do that. My usual hypes, or very much excitements about things to build, started very easily, and I could keep them for a month, or let's say 40-45 days, but then they faded away and eventually disappeared. So they were not habits. And of course the routines don't have to be every day. It's just something that you do regularly. It might be every week or every month or every second day. But I decided that this particular thing must start and continue for a long time to be a daily habit. So I have no excuse, even when I'm out of home for the whole day. I need to manage and make sure that I have time, and I will write the blog post and record the podcast episode, which sometimes is a very challenging thing. Usually on those days, those blog posts and podcast episodes tend to be very, how do I call it, chaotic maybe sometimes, because it's just, the whole purpose is to just create them. So sometimes they don't bring much value to the listener or to the reader or watcher like yourself. But again, the aim is to keep on going, because as you know, in life, not every day is exciting. To be honest, you could probably, or you couldn't probably find a single person on earth that their every single day is exciting. Quite the opposite. Most of the days in life are quite dull, I would say. Yes, we have some highlights of the days, but very often the days are quite usual, and we stick to our other unconscious routines or things that just are killing time. And suddenly in the evening we see that we didn't do as much as we thought we could, and it's very hard to pinpoint any specific highlight of the day. And I have those days recently a lot. It's quite the, I would say, a low moment. I would say, maybe not in life, but in general. I think the energy levels, the motivation levels, kind of dropped in recent weeks. So you can see that even though I was able to keep those 320 days going, it's very challenging sometimes to write anything of use for people, and even for myself, just to record it, because I don't want it to be a couple of lines of text with zero sense, and the recording of the video just for the sake of recording the video. So it's always that balancing act in providing some sort of value or content to what I do. This time, obviously, I will tell you, as usual, the update of what happened today so far. It's, at the moment, let me just see, it's 17:01, or in 12-hour system, it's 5 p.m. Actually, 1 minute past 5 p.m. as I record it. Obviously, before I upload it and publish it, some time will pass, and then it will be available on Spotify video and YouTube as a video, on Spotify, Apple, Google, and other podcast platforms as well in audio version. And afterwards, at some stage, I will write the blog post and embed this video and audio in it. So there will be blog post with this content in it, plus extra, which is usually some short write up about things that I might have forgotten to say here, or things that happened since, and I wanted to include them. Today itself wasn't very fancy. It's Friday, end of the week, working week for most of the people, and it is as well for me. Within the kind of professional work, it was quite quiet, so I could catch up with some tasks at work, but also I found or carved a little bit of time for, I would say, lunchtime, and my wife and myself, we drove to Murvar Beach and completed our daily walk of about 5 kilometers to keep ourselves active and make sure that we have that supply of fresh air as well and keep ourselves as healthy as possible. Other than that, nothing big happened so far. We might use the opportunity after I make the dinner to go in the evening somewhere and spend a little bit of time as a family with Julian and enjoy that evening because the weather seemed to be keeping fairly dry, which was quite unusual in recent months. Just to give you a picture of that, was over 31 days of July, 29 of them were on average rainy days. So you can imagine how impactful it was on everybody's performance, mindset, energy levels. There was no sun at all. It was constantly raining. So even if you were one of those people that could push and go in the rain for for a walk or things like that, most of the people stayed at home and refrained from going anywhere and just enjoyed their time at home, which doesn't really convert into really enjoying anything, because if you don't breathe fresh air every day, it seems to be impacting our bodies even more, because we kind of recycle the air at home, which is not necessarily the best air for our lungs and for our brains and our cells in the whole body. So naturally and biologically, we are slowly going down that slope of lower energy levels, less willingness to do anything, and increased need for that dopamine shots, which are provided unfortunately by artificial means like streaming services, TV, social media, or things that don't really require a lot from us and allow us consume content, spend time, and get nothing out of it really, except for that single moment in time where you get that dopamine shot. You have that sort of pleasure, but it's a short-lived pleasure, because after you finish that task, you need to start again or watch more to keep that mood going. Otherwise, you will go back to the low point, and actually very often it's even lower point in terms of the mental space, and mental health has been hit a lot for many people in recent years, not only because of technology and the political space or the COVID impact of pandemic, etc., but in general we are more stuck to technology and speeding up in life, and we slightly detach from nature and forgot how to, or forgot that we need to stop and think and relax and recover in between, so that naturally and logically also exponentially hits our mental states. And it's quite alerting at the moment across the globe. We'll see what comes from this afternoon and evening. There I will probably update a little bit in the blog post today or in the video tomorrow. On top of this update, I'll stitch one quick 2 minutes update that I recorded while waiting for the match to start yesterday in desert area, but actually it was Letterbarrow Football Club pitch where Julian and his team, Drumbar Football Club, played their match against Letterbarrow. So for now and for today, that's the end of the update. Don't go anywhere yet because I'll add, as I said, I'll stitch that 2 extra minutes of yesterday's update as well. But after that, enjoy your evening or the rest of your day, wherever you are, and hope to see you tomorrow.
Quick bonus video. Welcome to Blunt Force Healing. A short update to add spice to today's or tomorrow's update. A short video to show you how beautiful this place is. And I just did amazing loop of about 2.5 kilometers. Not much, but it's great for a little bit of walk and getting fresh air. I even ran some segments to get my heart pumping a little bit stronger. But yeah, as you can see, this is Letterbarrow Football Club pitch. The guys are getting ready to play match. They are warming up. It's 3 minutes until the whistle and the game will start. So I'm returning now and we'll see how it goes. It seems like they are playing already, but that would mean that they started earlier. It was supposed to be starting at 7, so I'll see if they are just warming up or they are actually playing. That's weird. I think they are playing already, so time for me. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon.